Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this gigantic patch update. We are gonna go through all the juice right here, right now on the AverageJonas channel. First of all, shop rework, major update, full shop rework, including many new items. Item slots are now all universal rather than tree specific. So this means that all the items can now be bought. You can buy, like, for instance, 12 greens, 12 purple, whatever. Total slot count reduced from 16 to 12. Interesting choice. I wonder if that is because, like, having 16 slots of flex slots are more powerful, right? And gives more flexibility. So having 12 flex slots instead of 16 unique slots, I think it's going to be interesting. I think you need to make more active choices on what items to buy. I also think this is really good because sometimes you would just buy 4 weapon items just because you got to fill your slots. I don't think that's great design. You know what I mean? So this is really sick. Reworked how tier bonuses work in the shop. They're no longer based on each item you buy, but instead based on your total spend in a tree. That's really interesting. So basically what this means is that you get a bigger benefit of rushing big items now. So one thing that was a problem also before was that there wasn't really a big power spike when you bought more expensive items because you would get bigger tier bonuses from just buying multiple smaller items. But now it's based on how much money you spend. So if you buy 2 3K items or 1 6K item, you will now have the same amount of bonuses in a tier. The bonuses are not linear and they maxed out 1 tree. Isn't optimal bonus-wise. Okay. Various item names have been changed. Items now glow when there is an upgrade you can buy. Okay. Okay, so all of that, we're going to go into the game after the patch notes and look at all the items, of course. But all right, next up, build authoring. The build browser has been reworked. It's now its own full screen UI. Added create build at the bottom when hovering over a player in post game. This will create a local unpublished build based on the items the player purchased in that match, included imbue targets. Oh, so if you see a player and they made a really cool build, you can straight up just copy the build and it would even tell you like the build order. That's sick. Build categories can be marked as optional, which shows up differently in the build UI and will not be added to quick buy. Oh, that's sick. So you can have everything like the default buy order and then the optional items you have to buy on your own. That's awesome. All right, next up, base. New base design. Amberside early development pass at, okay, so they've changed a lot of design, but also a lot of art, it looks like. These are art passes. Interior shape changed to a round with a high dome ceiling. Both sides using the same interior temporarily. Patron throne that moves down into the ground to form the final patron area. Okay, we will look at all these things in game. They even have network optimization, improved fairness in hit registration between high and low ping. Oh, this is good for me. Improved fairness in hit registration between high and low ping players during ability use and when shooting troopers. This might be better for me in terms of like silence, glyphing and stuff. Oh, it's when shooting troopers, so it's for last hits. Okay. Air acceleration has been increased to improve wall jump controls. Okay. Wall jump launch has been simplified. There is now just one launch direction, but in combination with increased air acceleration, the same variety of moves is still possible. Wall detection. Okay, so wall jump improvements. That's what I'm reading. Wait, holding crouch while exiting a mantle creates a small speed boost, allowing you to slide out of mantles. Okay. I fuck with that. Okay. Changing the third flex slot to unlock from killing all walkers to killing 2 walkers. Third flex slot is killing all walkers to kill. Okay. Changing the last flex slot from base guardians and shrine to just base guardians. Players now start with 400 souls. Adjusted the boon reward schedule and added more levels. You now gain 1 spirit per boon. All hero stats rebalanced along the... Oh god, this is just... Adjusted objective health values. Shields have been reworked and are now called barriers. They are no longer multiple damage types. They also interact normally with resistances now. So now barriers is just temporary health. There's not a specific spirit or gun one. Hero kill comeback values reduced by 15%. Ooh, the losing team now gains up to 25% more souls from troopers, neutrals, vaults, and objectives based on how behind they are. So when you're 20% max net worth behind, you get 25% more souls. Zipline speed boost reduced. Okay, I like that. Zipline was too OP. Trooper bounty splits. Less effective economy as a large group. Okay. I think that's fine. It doesn't change anything for duo lanes. It just changes if you're like trioing. I think because sometimes people would just like go 4 people in a lane and it would still be beneficial. Sidewalkers HP relative to mid change from 22 to 40%. Okay. Decrease the height of walker stomps. Oh, you can double jump above walker stomp. Okay, sick. Backdoor protection range check increased by 5 meters for walkers and 10. Okay. Power-ups now spawn at 5 minutes instead of 10. That's pretty big. Power-up at 5 minutes. I think this is because like right now the laning stage feels a little bit stale because it's so far between each lane because there's 3 lanes instead of 4 now. So I think they're adding early power-ups to cause more rotations in early fights. I kind of like that, so it doesn't become a stale. Breakables now spawn at 2 minutes instead of 3. They still have the same respawn timer. Golden statue breakables, chance increased. Minimap now shows what kind of power-up is spawned. Okay. They also lowered the power-up stats a bit, and that's probably because it now spawns at 5 instead of 10. So they start scaling upwards early. So this isn't exactly necessarily a nerf. It's just because they start spawning earlier. Updated all default builds. Net worth display show decimals until 10k. Troopers are visible through walls. Ally health bar. Bro, this is just teleporter change. Don't skip teleports? Wait, did I skip teleports? Sorry. Teleports now start available at the beginning of the game rather than 8 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Dude, my bad. It's just so much to read. Debuff resistance now stacks diminishingly. That's good. Upgraded items now share the cooldown of the consumed items. So if you use healing right before upgrading to healing nova, it no longer resists. Okay, good shit. Added outlines to the hero shader. Minor update to getting started tutorial. Added tooltip to explain the secondary build search language. Shrines are now navigation blockers, discouraging troopers from walking through and into them. Majestic Leap, Warp Stun, and Phantom Strike can probably be cast while climbing ropes. Players will no longer be attacked by nearby neutral enemy when attacking the Sinner Sacrifice. Okay. Hero changes. Abrams. New animation logic. Added support for shoulder charging while in air. New sounds added. On hero collide, gain bonus weapon damage. I don't play a lot of Abrams. I don't know exactly what these implications are. Ult radius increased. Big nerf on the charge CD. Okay. Bebop. Exploding uppercut. Fixed missing uppercut hero impact sound. Rework code to reduce mispredicts. When Bebop hooks a trooper, only Bebop will hear the hook success sound. Fix the hook sometimes not breaking when the target stuff. Fix the target sometimes not being positioned. So no changes to Bebop. This is all just like quality of life stuff. Okay. No changes on Calico either. Dynamo. New updated model and animations. That's cool. Kinetic pulse now matches the move slow. Quantum entanglement. So these are also all like effect revisions pretty much. All right. Grey Talon. Base bullet damage, spirit power scaling reduced. Charge shot tier 3 spirit power reduced. Well, Grey Talon's been the server admin for a while. That's fine. Haze, voice over remaster pass. Sleep no longer wakes up from damage over time. Interesting. Okay. Holiday, fixed able to spawn battles on the other side of the thin walls. Fixed by bounce pads. So all the hero changes seem to pretty much be like more or less like quality of life. Ooh, Ivy has a lot. Visuals, ally cast range increased. Combat barrier reduced. Okay, so it looks like they're making the airdrop a little bit more supportive, so that it's going to be easier to pick up allies. But the combat barrier is reduced, and the spirit power scaling is reduced. Okay. I like not doing a ton of hero changes with huge meta changes. That's true. I respect that they're kind of doing one thing at a time, because when you're reworking all the items, you can't make huge changes to the heroes at the same time, in my opinion. Life drain, you're only slowed when life drain is damaging the target instead of when you're casting it. Okay. Fixed damaging enemies through thin walls. Lash. Holy McGinnis changes. Okay, wait. Base spirit reduced. Ground strike spirit scaling reduced. So just a slight change. McGinnis mains. New updated model and animations. Bullet velocity increased. No longer has base spirit resist. Now it grows per boon. No longer has 3-second minimal lifetime. They now spawn with 60% spirit and bullet resist that decays over 6 seconds. Medicine Spectre effect revision now provides stamina regen. Spectral wall duration reduced. So they nerfed the spectral wall. Projectile and ambient effect revisions. I'm just trying to like understand if this is a buff or a nerf overall. Let me see. Heavy barrage ult. Oh! Now allows full movement while McGinnis ulting. Okay. That's kind of sick. Now slows your dash usage. Damage per rocket reduced. Minimum distance increased. Cooldown increased. Dash slow. Tier 3 damage. Okay. Tier 3 increases spirit scaling by 0.1. I don't know. That might, maybe Ult Mechanics is back. Okay. Mirage, Tornado, improved animations, voiceover. Bow and Krill. Scorn heal reduced from 1.3 to 1.2. Burrow, tier 2 reduced from 100 to 80. Combo, bonus health on kills assist reduced from 70 to 50. I don't think that's a huge surprise. I think Mo and Krill has been very good for a long time, and these are very minor nerfs. I don't think that affects him at all. Okay, Pocket. Base bullet damage increased. Affliction is no longer removed by debuff remover, as this item no longer removes ultimate effects. Shit. Oh, no. All right. Duration reduced. DPS increased. Initial damage reduced. So it does less burst damage, but a bigger DPS. Affliction tier 2. Affliction tier 3 no longer has current HP damage increases from... Oh, okay. So the overall burst damage is lower, but it's got more damage over time, but you can't remove it. Okay. 7 can no longer self-cast his stun. So it's going to make mid-boss dealing harder. Killing blow threshold reduced. A little shiv nerf. Okay, not a lot, but... Vexing bolt. It's a little bug fix. Vindicta, not much. Viscous, improved firing effects. Fix alt firing weapon thinking could zoom. Oh. Goo ball cooldown increased. Okay, nice. Fixed it knocking back here so it's unstoppable. Okay. Voiceover remaster. Wraith gun fall off range reduced. So this is a nerf, right? Because the fall off range, her gun falls off in damage earlier. All right. Shop rework. Holy cinema. Let's just hop into... Let's just look at the models first. Here's the new McGinnis model. Dude, can you guys see how like much more like better it looks? You know what I mean? Like she's much less pixelated. No more welding mask, yeah.
Goodbye.
And then you got yo. Man be shiny though. Wait, the TP, did you guys see that? The TP goes in like a loop, like a little, do his ult, he spins, what?
Opening black hole! Now! Bask in starlight.
Dude. Oh man. Okay guys, here we go. Holy cinema. Holy cinema. Okay, so first of all, there is a lore thing here going on. Fairfax. See how like they've added some lore elements. MPS Pharmacy for green. Curiosity Catalog for purples. And Fairfax for orange. The first thing to note here obviously is the prices. 800, 1600, 3200, 6400. So tier 1 items are more expensive, but you start with 400 souls. Don't forget that. So that's the first thing to notice. The second thing to notice, guys, is that there's a lot of new items. So let's just start from the top. So the first thing you can see here, guys, do you notice how most items have fewer stats on them? Do you see that? And it also shows you which one it can upgrade to, right? See that? Also, the art looks phenomenal, dude. The art looks absolutely phenomenal. The other thing to notice is that they're all flex slots. You see that? They're all flex slots now. And then you can see the tier bonuses down here on the left. So now it's like before you would have to buy like 4 weapon items to get like a lot of like weapon buffs. But now you could buy one 6K item and it instantly puts... Oh, wait. Did you hear that?
No point in saving any more money.
Okay, so how's this work? I sell you guns, you get my kid through missions.
Oh. So there's a different sound when you buy the tier 4s.
I got one of those for the Miscs. Big fan.
Yo. All right.
And what can I do
Now,
for you?
obviously, guys, it's going to take a while to get used to all these new items, first of all. It's also going to take a while to get used to all the new icons instead of the standard just green, purple, whatever icons. But they did make it easier because you can see there's a triangle in the top corner that says what tier the item is and what color it's from. So I do think that for a new player, this is going to be a lot easier to learn and remember, but also it's 10 times cooler. I think that the old system was functional, but not very interesting. So let's just start with the top here. We got these items are pretty much similar to before. It's monster rounds, resto shot, rapid rounds, nothing too fancy, high velocity, headshot booster, close quarters. Then we get to tier 2. We got active reload. You notice how every item has like fewer stats now. Like before in the old patch, there was some items that just had like 4 or 5 different stats. And it seems like they don't really want that because it becomes too generic and boring. They're kind of just like making it a little bit more like focused in a niche, which I think is good because then playstyles have more identity, right? All right. And then we have Backstabber. Attacking enemies from behind with your weapon or melee opens a wound, dealing spirit damage over time and reducing their bullet resist. During this time, if you or any allies are near the target, you will see them through walls.
Your enemies will curse your name.
Hey, okay. So anyone that like chases heroes, oh, it gives movement speed too. Interesting. Also notice the footstep sound distance. That makes me think that like when you play Haze, for instance, because sometimes you can hear a Haze when she stealths by. So this might be good on Haze. Fleetfoot is the same. Intensifying mag is now a 1.6k item. This used to be a 3k item, but obviously they've reduced the amount of stats on it. It used to have fire rate and stuff as well. Kinetic dash is similar to before. Long range, similar to before, but no reload speed reduction. Melee charge is pretty similar to before. Mystic shot is more expensive and has less stats on it now, but like since everything has been... Here's one thing that you guys have to remember. If you go like, oh, Mystic Shot used to be 1250 and had like more stats on it or whatever, you have to remember that like the entire item shop is reworked. So we have to like get rid of our old thought process and like, you know what I mean? Like 1600 for Mystic Shot. Ah! Fuck me sideways, bro.
I got you Starbucks.
Thank you.
You were so into it. I'm sorry. You were so into it. I'm sorry. You were so sorry.
She had the... Did you buy the Backstabber item? The new Backstabber item by any chance?
I sure did. I don't have to buy that. It comes with me.
They just launched the patch.
I know. I heard you screaming from that room.
Oh, God.
So I ordered some coffee. I'm
Thanks.
heading out now, but have fun.
Thanks. Love you.
I'll see you late night. So.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Well, this video is not getting monetized. All good. All right. Let's continue. Opening rounds. Okay. Your attacks have additional weapon damage against enemies above 50% health. Interesting. So this could be good on like maybe Paradox or something because it means that you would have buff damage to your carbine or you know what I mean? Not bad. Slowing bullets. Slowing bullets is similar, but now it builds up. See that? So now it builds up movement slow on enemies instead of just like instantly hitting, which I think makes sense because it always felt weird that you can just shoot someone with one shot. All right. And then you have Spirit Shredder bullets. This one is the same as before. Here we have another new item, Split Shots. Make your weapon fire multi-shot. Hitting more than one hero per attack will grant a stacking weapon damage bonus.
We live in interesting times, don't we?
Oh my God. Hang on.
Well, someone's looking to make us...
Open fire!
Okay, the Swift Striker is now an upgrade from Rapid Rounds. See, when you buy Rapid Rounds now, you can choose between upgrading it to Swift Strike or Burst Fire, which is pretty interesting. And here's another interesting change. Titanic Magazine is now a 1.6k item. I always felt like Titanic Magazine was not worth it for 3k. And that was another item that was overloaded with stats. It had melee resistance, it had spirit resistance, a lot of other things. And then now they are like simplifying it and making it more easy to understand and making it a 1.6k item. That's pretty sick. All right, and then the last item is weakening headshot. So this is essentially just a Walmart version of crippling headshot. Another thing that is pretty interesting now, guys, is that, do you remember before that, for instance, Boundless Spirit would cost 9k, right? So now they have baked the component price into the item. So even though this one upgrades to crippling, the total price will still be 6.4k. So they adjusted the item balance instead. I think this is a really good change because that is one thing that just didn't make sense to a new player. It says like, it used to say like, oh, this is a 6k item, and then Boundless was 9.7k. And like, no one was like, that doesn't make any sense. So now they've adjusted the balance of each item instead. So for instance, it makes it much easier to buy expensive items because you buy the item first, and then the upgrade cost will actually be 4.8k. Can you buy multiple of the same item? No. All right, and then we have 3.2k. Alk Fire is pretty much the same. Damage per second, bullet resist reduction, pretty similar. Still a goated item. Berserker is pretty much the same as before, except it's much more expensive. This item used to build into Frenzy. You'll notice it's not building into Frenzy anymore. These are two separate items. And that's another thing where Frenzy was one of those items that also were just overloaded with stats. So now there are two separate items again, and then of course adjusted like the stats on it. Then you have Blood Tribute. Now this item, Blood Tribute, if anyone has played Dota 2, this is kind of similar to Armlet. You notice how you can toggle it on and off, right?
I got more where that
So
came from.
you can toggle it on and off. And when it's toggled on, you see I'm losing health. And then once it's toggled on, you gain fire rate, debuff resistance, and movement speed. So one thing I'm curious about is like, because the health drain seems to be 50 health per second and not like percentage scaling, this could be really good on high health pool heroes, because if you know that a debuff is coming, you can pop this right before and you essentially have 50% debuff resistance in the fight. You know what I mean? Will it trigger Berserk? Let me see.
I got one of those for the Misc. Big fan.
Yeah, it does. Oh my god. Oh. Wait, this could be good on Geist. No? You could do that on Geist to get you down to 1 and then ult someone. Oh boy. All right. Burst Fire, same as before, just like reduced amount of stats overload like all the other items. One thing that is interesting about Burst Fire though is that you actually lose 10% static fire rate. See that? There's like the 10% static fire is actually gone. So that's something to have in mind. So yeah, Cultist Sacrifice is essentially kind of like Hand of Midas in Dota. So basically it takes out one of the monsters and you gain a bonus health, bonus ability range, bonus fire rate. And you also get 150% bonus souls.
Tell you what, I'll throw
So you
in
can
a
use this on a
free
tier 3 camp. So if I use it on this guy now, let me see. Do you see that? So normally that camp gives you just 200 souls, but it gave me an additional 300. So that's 500 souls in total. Yeah, so the cooldown of Cultist Sacrifice is very long. Yo, think of it 1,000
Try
bits.
split shot with express shot on alt fires.
Split shot with express shot on... think of it 1,000 bits effects. Let me see. Let's do Yamato then. Split shot and then express shot. Whoa! Whoa! What the fuck was that? Wait, that's sick. Okay. We keep going. Yeah, so Cultist Sacrifice has a very long cooldown, but you have to remember that cooldown reduction reduces it too. So this item will increase your gold per minute more if you also have cooldown reduction. And then you basically will have the buff the entire time. Because the buff doesn't look like the buff goes away when you die either. So this is just a perma fire rate, health, and ability range buff. Escalating resilience, same as before. Grants bullet resistance. Not too much to write home about. And this is Express Shot. This is the one we were just using now. So Express Shot. After not attacking for 4 seconds, your next attack will fire twice in quick succession with increased damage and velocity. This attack consumes extra ammo. So that's the one we just saw. I think this item is going to be really interesting on a lot of heroes because my first thought process was Paradox. Because Paradox Kinetic Carbine is based on your current damage amp. So if you don't shoot a shot first, which you don't because you're charging up the carbine, you get an extra 150% weapon damage on the carbine, right? Paradox Carbine is gonna hit really hard with an item like this. So this is just one item, Carbine Headshot. It's already 546. Split Shot? Wait, does Carbine work with Split Shot?
Charging time.
Wait.
Can't waste time.
All right. Interesting. I definitely want to try out Paradox. Oh yeah, let's check the Shiv right click too.
Can't forget to buy gear.
Can't forget to buy gear.
Hope you win whatever fight you're about
Shiv
to
right
start.
click. Oh, that chunks, bro. Okay. Next up, we have Headhunter. Not much new here. It's still the headshot thing with the heal and movement speed. Pretty much the same. Heroic Aura is pretty much the same, except it has a passive bullet resist to nearby friendly units as well. Nice. Hollow Point. Now, this item has been changed a lot. Hollow Point used to be 500 souls. Hollow Point used to give you 20% weapon damage above 65% health. Now it gives 35 plus 10% bullet resist plus 150 health. So that's a big change. I think this is another good Paradox item. Hunter's Aura is pretty much the same, just slightly lowered bullet resist reduction. Point Blank, also the same. Weapon damage buff plus movement speed reduction. Sharpshooter, pretty much the same as well. But they removed the, no, they did add extra zoom to, yeah, pretty much the same. Spirit Rend, that's just a renaming for the upgrade to Spirit Shredder bullets from before. All right, Tesla bullets. Guys, are you noticing something when I'm hovering Tesla bullets? Capacitor. Oh. All right, so Tesla bullets, 15% proc chance, passive 0.25. Tesla bullets is one of those items that, you know, it's... Oh, you can see the spirit scaling now. Look, when I'm holding Alt or Tab, it shows the actual spirit scaling. This item is really good if you have cooldown reduction and fire rate. Because cooldown reduction can lower the internal cooldown of the passive, and fire rate makes it more often. But other than that, the item is pretty much the same. This is like Mjolnir in Dota, yeah. All right. We're going to look at the upgrade in a second. Toxic bullets, pretty much the same. Just a bleed. And then weighted shots. This is a new item. Weapon damage. But the icon is so funny, by the way. Weapon damage, spirit resist, debuff resist, but lower bullet velocity and stamina recovery. Damn. That's actually a pretty good item for like... Yeah, maybe Abrams. Honestly, that can be good on a lot of heroes, no? All right. Now, let's get to the juicy ones. Armor piercing rounds. Your bullets have a chance to become unavoidable, piercing through enemies and ignoring their bullet resistance. Now imagine this, guys. Imagine there is a ultra-fed Viscous on your team, and he's rolling around in a ball. Or imagine a Mo and Krill burrowing around, and you can't damage him. This is literally Monkey King Bar from Dota. Pierces through and ignoring bullet resistance. Yeah. This is going to be... I'm going to assume a lot of Mouse 1 carries are going to buy this. And piercing through enemies is really interesting too. In like a Dynamo ult or something. Okay. And then the Tesla upgrade. Capacitor. Capacitor, first thing we can notice here is that it has a bigger proc chance. You see that? So it's got the same proc, but it's got 20% instead of 15. So that's the first thing we need to notice. But other than that, it's still 6. Wait, it's got more jumps too. 6 jumps and 10-meter radius instead of 4 jumps and 8-meter radius. So that's just a big quality of life upgrade. But the active launch a projectile that deals damage, removes all their non-ultimate buffs, and apply a strong slow that recovers over time. So this is a purge. So this,
Good seeing you, Chip.
and then buy this,
Have fun sticking people.
and then make mimic.
Strike swiftly.
Wait,
Let's go.
you know what this means? I don't know exactly all the stuff it stops, but I believe it is a lot. I believe it removes metal skin. If it removes viscous cube, it definitely removes metal skin. We'll have to like figure out. My first thought process with this was imagine playing Haze ult build, and the big counter is to buy metal skin against the Haze ult. Now, since you can use items while you're ulting with Haze, you can just purge away their metal skin. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. A crippling headshot is similar to before, but it also gives healing reduction, which is interesting. Yeah, it's got reduced. It was 24 before, yeah. And it's a 10-second debuff, but a 3-second cooldown. Okay. But guys, look at this. Crushing fists. 75% heavy melee distance. 25% melee damage. Your melee damage will restore ammo and apply a stacking bullet resist debuff on enemies. Heavy melee applies 2 stacks.
You know me. Anything to support the Baxter Society.
Oh no! Oh no. Wait, I think I see why they removed heavy melee canceling. Because imagine if this shit was in the game while HMC was in the game. Okay. Wait, if the target reaches max stacks, they will be stunned. Wait, so it's 6 stacks and they get stunned? 1, 2. Oh, you can see it above them. Look at the counter. 3, 4, 5. Okay. A frenzy. Frenzy is pretty much the same. Movement speed, bullet resist, fire rates. Extra stat bonuses when you're low, except it doesn't have Berserker built in anymore because it's a separate item. Glass Cannon. Glass Cannon's got a pretty big change because it now gives fire rate per kill instead of weapon damage. And I think this is a pretty good change because the weapon already had a lot of weapon damage and it felt weird to just keep on getting more weapon damage. But because it gives fire rate instead now, I think it's much better. Another issue I had with this item before was that it wouldn't show how many stacks you have. But if you look at the thumbnail, you can see that it now shows the current stacks, which I think is huge because you would always have to like press B, look at your weapon damage, and then like calculate how far off you are, you know? So I think that's really good. It makes the item much more like logical. Okay, Lucky Shot is the same, bonus weapon damage and a proc, blah 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 blah, extra ammo. Ricochet is the same, except it's got 25% fire rate now. And I believe it's also got bigger range. Does anyone remember what the Ricochet range used to be? But I actually think this item got buffed quite a bit because as far as I know, Ricochet wasn't that great. That was not an item a lot of people were buying anymore. It used to be 11. Okay, it was 11. Okay. Oh yeah, wait, Lucky Shot doesn't slow anymore. You're right. It used to be 60% ricochet damage, 2 targets, and 11 meters. Okay, so that's a little buff. It used to give a little bit of ammo too, yeah. But I actually think that the fire rate is much better. I think maybe this can be good on... We're gonna try to... So there's a few things I want to try. I definitely want to make a Paradox and a Mo build. And I definitely want to try to make a Ult Haze build work again. Because the big problem with Ult Haze was always metal skin. But with Capacitor being a thing, I definitely have to try make one. Heroic Aura is here. Okay, we got to keep going. There's a lot to go through here, guys. Shadow Weave is the same as before, pretty much. Just with some changed values, but yeah. And then we have Silencer. It's pretty much also the same. Reduce targets, outgoing spirit damage, and build up a silence. They removed extra ammo from Ricochet. I mean, all the items have got simplified stats now. And I think this is good because you want each item to be its own niche. Like, I think it's important that items are more different from each other than they used to be. Spellslinger, this is a new item. Whenever you cast an ability or item, gain a stacking buff that improves fire rate and reload speed. Okay, and then last item, Spiritual Overflow. It doesn't have cooldown reduction anymore, but it's got Spirit Lifesteal still, and it gives fire rate and spirit power. So pretty much the same. Okay, that's the weapon. Let's keep on going here. Then we have the health items. So you can see extra health is pretty much the same. It builds into Fortitude Colossus. Extra regen builds into Healing Booster and Healing Tempo. Ooh, okay. Also pretty much the same. Extra stamina is pretty much the same. Healing Right now scales with Spirit. That's nice. Does Healing Nova scale with Spirit too? Ooh, wait. Healing Nova always felt like a game that was item that was really good early, but then later on, it would feel really shit. Okay, and then we have Melee Lifesteal, pretty much the same, just simplified. This is a new item. Rebuttal. -2 seconds parry cooldown. On a successful parry against an enemy hero, heal yourself for the damage parried and return that damage to the target and temporarily gain increased melee damage. Okay.
Someone's using their noodle.
Oh, listen to the effect. That's so cool. All right. Cool shit. Okay. Dude, if you're laning against an Abrams, this might be pretty damn good. Sprint boots. So they've separated sprint boots and enduring speed. You see that? Enduring speed is here and sprint boots is here. So one of them gives movement speed and the other one gives sprint speed. Interesting. Okay. Battle vests. So it looks like a combat barrier is gone and battle vest is the new combat barrier. You can notice it now has bullet resist instead of, but it still has the same weapon and fire rate buffs, but it gives bullet resist instead of a barrier. Yeah, minus parry cooldown is insane because you know how many times I've punched someone and then they miss their parry and then now you know that they can't parry for 3 seconds. This item's gonna fuck up your timing and you like built in your head, you're like, know that you can punch, you know what I mean? I think that's gonna be very strong. And then we have debuff reducer, still same as before pretty much. Enchanter's Emblem, this is just Enchanter's Barrier, but it gives spirit resist instead of barriers. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. Enduring speed is the same as before. Slow resist, movement speed. It doesn't have sprint speed now because that's a separate item. Guardian Ward is the old Divine Barrier, and it seems like it upgrades to Divine Barrier now instead. Okay, we'll get back to that later. So this is what Divine Barrier used to be. Healbane, same. Healing Booster, same, except it no longer makes it more resistant to healing reduction. So that's interesting. Healing Nova is the same. Reactive Barrier is the same, except now barriers, like we saw in the patch notes, are not separate to bullet and spirit, and it scales with spirit power. So I like their kind of thing they've done here where some of the early counter items you buy, they've made it so they kind of scale into the late game more, because Reactive Barrier and Healing Nova, these are items that you usually would sell later in the game because they just fall off. But adding some scaling to them, I think is a pretty interesting choice. Resto Locket, same. This one also has spirit scaling now. That's cool. Return Fire, same as before. Spirit Lifesteal, same. Spirit Shielding. Gain a barrier when you take significant spirit damage from enemy heroes in a small time frame. Wait, so these are new. So this is like anti-Bebop. This is like if you play against Bomb Bebop, you just get a barrier or Great Talon Arrow, yeah. Wait, so maybe, yeah, okay, I see. Interesting. So this is kind of like an Enchanter's Barrier in a way, except they made, okay, interesting. Yeah, those are kind of like Enchanters and Combat Barrier. Okay, and then we have Bullet Resilience. This is just the old improved bullet armor, I guess, except now it's more efficient when you're under 30% health. So that's, yeah, there's no, because improved bullet armor used to be 4.2k, that's just gone. So this is the replacement. But your next parry protects you from the damage and effects of enemy abilities and items. On a successful spell parry, gain move speed and spirit power. Okay, so counterspell. I'm just gonna say I don't think I'll be playing Bomb Bebop on this patch, chat. That's all I have to say. It's not looking good for Bomb Bebop with all these counters. Okay. Debuff remover is now cheaper. It's now 3k instead of 4k. Purges all non-ultimate negative effects currently applied to you. So this is another nerf to Bomb Bebop because debuff remover is cheaper. I'm just gonna say it right now, guys. I truly believe that this makes Bomb Bebop pretty much dead. With so far the items I've looked at, I don't think Bomb Bebop is gonna be very good. There's a lot more items that counter it, and it looks like everyone is gonna have more HP as well. So those two in combination, with the like time to kill being like slower, I don't think Bomb Bebop is gonna be great. That's all I can say. So I'm probably on this patch, the first thing I want to do is play Paradox and Mo. Okay, Fortitude, pretty much the same. Here's a new item. Grants fire rate and bullet resistance, but silences you and disables stamina usage and regeneration. This is another item that can be really good for Haze ult, I think. Yeah, this is basically Mask of Madness for Dota. It silences you, but you have more fire rates. I think this can be a really good item for an Haze ult build. So there's definitely some items here that is making Haze look more viable. Not everyone can afford to slot all these counters in. Well, yes and no, Chuck, because you can say that, but you can build 12 green items if you want. So yes, you have less slots in total. But before it was like hard, you only have 4 green slots. So if you needed to buy a green item to counter something, it was actually harder to slot in before than now. Because now you can technically have 10 green items if you want. So I'd say that buying counter items now is actually easier, even though there's less slots. Yeah, everybody hates Bomb Bebop, so it's fine. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've gotten a little bit tired of playing Bomb Bebop anyway, because everybody hates on it all the time. It always gets nerfed. And I just wanted theorycraft new types of builds. So I'm happy to... It's okay. Like, I'm happy to play other heroes too. I don't want to... Like, that's one thing I learned from Valorant. I don't want to just be stuck on one hero. Then I'll get bored. Okay, Life Strike... Pretty much the same. Yeah, it's got the heal and the slow, all the good shit. Majestic Leap, pretty much the same, except it grants a small barrier. Metal Skin, pretty much the same. Rescue Beam is pretty much the same. Spirit Resilience, this is the equivalent of Bullet Resilience. More efficient, under 30%. Stamina Mastery is the new Superior Stamina. So, yeah, that's pretty much the same as before. This item is new. Trophy Collector. Whenever you score an assist or kill, gain extra health, sprint, ability range, and passive soul generation. This effect stacks and persists through death. So that is 14 stacks max, which means that you can get up to 240 souls per... No, wait, 280 souls per minute extra. So 280 souls per... So let's do some math here, okay? So let's say that you have max stacks, 14 stacks. So you have 280 souls per minute. So after 10 minutes of max stacks, you've gotten 2,800 souls from that item alone. And 12 minutes, after 12 minutes, you have earned this entire item's value back. But here's the interesting thing about this. One thing that a lot of people are forgetting when they look at like, because there are some items like this in other MOBAs too that speed up your gold farming and stuff. One thing that is unique about Deadlock is because there is not a separate experience and gold like in the other games. There's just souls. So there are heroes like Mo and Paradox that needs a lot of ability points to do all the things. Like Paradox needs to have max wall and max carbine, for instance, as soon as possible. So an item like this and an item like this will actually speed up your ability points progression. So even if you could get like, you know, even if you can say
Holy
like,
patch.
oh, but after 10 minutes, you've only earned back the item. But that's not entirely true because your ability point unlocks are based on the boons you gain. So every time you hit a new boon, boons are these like level up, right? When I level up, I gain a little bit of spirit, a little bit of weapon damage every time I level up, right? So because you are now having a passive soul generator, you're actually increasing the speed you're getting your boons at. So that is why I think the Trophy Collector can be a really good scaling item for heroes that need ability points more than souls. So I think this is good on Mo, good on Paradox, maybe good on Bebop, I don't think it's gonna necessarily be that good on carries because I don't think a haze would ever want to spend 3.2k on a dead item, you know? Because this is a dead item in the beginning. It doesn't have any stats. So, but the thing about Paradox and Mo is that they can get away with buying this item early and participate in fights, and their ult is good enough and you can like roam around that you can actually probably build up stacks with this without like hindering your scaling. So Veil Walker is back. Veil Walker is a 3k item again, and it's got spirit power, it's got movement speed, but because the barriers are gone, now it's a universal item instead. This item was a little bit annoying before because it felt like you had to buy enchanters and combat barrier. Now they made it more universal. It heals 150 health instead and gives you 4 movement speed. And 10 spirit power is a lot as well. So, and for those of you who remember a while back, my biggest win rate hero was Veil Walker ult Paradox. And let me tell you that I think Veil Walker ult Paradox is back. And then, not a very surprising change, but Warpstone was changed from weapon item to green item. This makes sense. You know, it gives bullet resist and mobility. So that makes sense. And then we get to the juicy part. Cheat death. When you take lethal damage, instead become temporarily death immune. While death immune, you deal reduced damage, have reduced healing, and move slower. I'm not sure what hero this is good on, because those debuffs are pretty insane. I think this could be good on Dynamo, like Dynamo ulting. You know how, because you're still doing the same CC, right? I think for Dynamo and Mo, for instance, you could like guarantee getting an ult off, but 70% damage and healing reduction means that it's not really going to be for someone who does damage. Yeah, this is like a slightly less broken Soul Rebirth. Colossus is the same, just bullet, spirit resistance, and health. Still a great item. Here is the item that we were talking about earlier. So Divine Barrier used to be this, and now they changed the name to Guardian Ward because Divine Barrier sounds really sick, you know. Removes all non-stun debuffs from the target and provide them with a barrier and move speed. So this is basically, let me see, in MOBAs, trophy collector type items usually end up going to support so the carry can take more farm on the map while the support gets rewarded for staying active in the map and team fighting. That's correct, Concho Bar. That is, it's like that stone thing in Dota. Alchemist stone? I don't remember. Something like that. But yeah, this item I think looks insane because this seems like you can use it as a debuff remover if you want to on yourself, and it gives you movement speed and a barrier, or you can use it to save someone else too. Obviously it's a 6k item, but see, this is another item that's gonna mess up Bomb Bebop as well. Diviner's Kevlar is pretty much the same, except it's got 1 barrier now. It seems a little bit weaker. It doesn't have cooldown reduction anymore. I don't think this item is that great. And then we have Healing Tempo. This is a new item. This is an upgrade from Healing Booster. Wait, can he Healing Boost? Wait, look at this, guys. It's a triple upgrade. Extra regen, Healing Booster, and then Healing Tempo. Interesting. Okay, so this applying heal to yourself or an ally grants the target bonus fire rate and bonus move speed. And it's got no cooldown. So Kelvin, Dynamo, and McGinnis, right? I don't think... Would it work on Geist? I don't know. I don't think life steals count. I don't think Ivy Tether counts either. Does it say heal on the Ivy Tether? Let me see. See, this gives bullet lifesteal. I don't think bullet lifesteal works.
Now's our chance.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Wait, but maybe this thing? This one heals. It does. Ah, interesting. So stone form works. Wait, so does that mean that if I have... Because this one has shared healing. Can I give someone else? Can I give an ally that buff by doing this?
Tethers up.
I can. Interesting. Okay. So this is going to be a very good support item for late game. You can give fire rate and move speed if you stay in the Dynamo circle. Or if you use even Healing Nova, you know, you can Healing Nova and give everybody. Nice. Okay, and then look at this, guys. Infuser. Okay, let me just remove this so you don't get the wrong values.
Wonder what I can afford now.
Is now a 6k item. It used to be 500 souls. in Spirit. Now it's a 6k item. It gives a lot more Spirit Lifesteal, more Spirit Power, and it's now an upgrade from Spirit Lifesteal. See, when the Spirit Lifesteal now, you can choose to go down the Leech route or the Infuser route. So it depends on if you need burst healing or sustain healing. So this is probably going to be like Ult 7, maybe Infernus, something like that. Yeah, Infuser was an item they just never could balance. That's true. Okay, then we've got Inhibitor. Your bullets reduce target's outgoing damage. It now also has I don't think it didn't used to have a healing reduction, right? Then we have Juggernaut. This is another new item. This is now an upgrade from Enduring Speed. Enemies that shoot you have their fire rate slowed. Dude, I really like this because one thing is like these items are just straight up like, yeah, if you do bullet damage, you do less bullet damage. But this is like targeted towards a certain type of bullet damage that has high fire rates. I like these kind of items, like big slow resist and lowering fire rate as well. That's really cool. Yeah, I think Vitality builds are definitely on the menu. There's a lot of really good greens. Leech is pretty much the same. Noticing one thing here, guys. It's much easier to scale into a Leech now because look at this. You spend 1600 on bullet lifesteal. You spend 1600 on spirit lifesteal. Well, now your Leech costs 3.2k. So when you play a Shiv or something, right, you can buy both of these first. So you don't have to save up a massive amount. So it's going to be much easier to rush Leech. Phantom Strike is the same as before. Disarm, slow. This is a new item. Gain a chance to either deflect incoming bullets, preventing all weapon damage, or prevent all on-hit effects from bullets. So that's pretty sick. I think this is going to be super good against Infernus because he needs to apply Afterburn and Toxic Bullets. I think this is also because the biggest way of taking down tanks is to apply healing debuffs and damage over time. It just means it's harder to proc Toxic Bullets. Siphon Bullets, still the same, nothing new. Actually, wait, it steals more health now. Wasn't it 55 before? Or am I smoking something? But yeah, it's pretty much the same. It was 55, okay. Spellbreaker, another new item. Spirit Resist, debuff resist. The next instance of high spirit damage you take is significantly reduced. Yo, if it isn't another Bomb Bebop counter item, let's go. That's what we needed. Fuck, man. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good against Lash too. I think it's not gonna be that great against Bebop because in a lot of cases, I think you're gonna proc it on the uppercut or the hook. But for someone like Lash, this is a big nerf because you're probably gonna have the ground strike hit you with this one. Maybe spirits items have cool stuff incoming. We'll see in a second. Unstoppable. Dude, Unstoppable now has debuff resist and is an upgrade from debuff reducer. Look at that. So now this is a multiple choice upgrade. So you buy this and then you can decide if you want to go down the debuff remover or Unstoppable route later. That's pretty cool. Can I build 100% debuff reduction now? Debuff reduction stat is now diminishing returns, like the other stats. So, yeah. So you can buy both, but you won't have 50%. You're going to have like 40 something. Then we got Vampiric Burst. This item is similar to before, except now it's a Vitality item. This used to be a weapon item, so not much to write home about, but it's a good item. And then finally, Witchmail. Witchmail is also a new item. Spirit Resist, Spirit Power. Taking heavy hits of spirit damage from an enemy reduces a random ability cooldown. Now that's a cool item. Dude, that's cool. Okay, this is cool. All right. And now for the spirit items, I love spirit builds, so this is the category I'm the most excited about. But let's just get through this because we still have to look at the new map as well. Okay, so extra charge, still the same. Extra spirit, still the same. Mystic bursts. So here's one interesting change about Mystic Burst. It no longer says it's got a cooldown. It says it charges up over time with bonus spirit damage, causing abilities to deal more than 80 damage to deal additional damage. So what this means is that if you do another ability that does more than 80 damage, while this ability is on cooldown, it's gonna reset the cooldown and then do the damage appropriate to how long of a charge time it had. I think this is a really cool change because some items just felt really awkward to use. Quicksilver Reload has the same because it says so in the patch notes. All these items now have this charge build up. This is really interesting because I'll give you guys an example. One thing that always felt awkward was to play Mo and Krill and have Scorn, because Scorn always had a slightly shorter cooldown than Quicksilver Reload. So you had to wait to use the second Scorn because your Quicksilver Reload wasn't ready. So this fixes that, except it's going to do slightly less damage, give you slightly less fire rate, and slightly less bullet reload. All right, and then we've got Mystic Expansion. So this is just a new name for Mystic Range or Mystic Reach. This item is new. Dealing spirit damage to enemy heroes grants you bonus health regen. Stacks when dealing damage to different heroes. This is pretty cool. This has to be so good on Geist. It's a specific ability imbue. Oh yeah, wait, which one? Which one is imbue? Oh, the range. Oh yeah, wait, it is. You're right. The range imbues now, but I don't think the upgrade does. The upgrade is for all abilities, but the basic one is an imbue. Okay. This one, I think is going to be really interesting when you play lane with Mo as well, because Mo has Burrow and Torment Pulse and Scorn, and all these abilities do AoE damage. So it's each stack of Mystic Regeneration is going to proc. That's pretty cool. Extra stamina builds into Arcane Surge now. Oh, wink, wink. Okay, then we got Rusted Barrel. Target an enemy to reduce their fire rate. So that's just the old, what was it called again? Withering Whip. This is the new Withering Whip. Isn't it gonna go dummy hard with Pocket Ult? Yeah. Spirit Strike. When you perform a light or heavy melee. Yeah, this is the same before. Spirit Strike is the same pretty much. Okay. Arcane Surge is now 1.6k. And it builds from extra stamina. You know, another thing that's pretty interesting now, by the way, now it doesn't really matter that a green item builds into a purple item because all the slots are the same. So I think that's a pretty cool change. Arcane Surge seems really good now. This item is going to be really good on some heroes, I think. Definitely one of the more overloaded items, I think, in stats, because this item went from being a 4.2k item to 1.6. And it still gives a lot of stats. It's probably good on Mo, and it's probably good on Dynamo. Yeah, it's the spirit version of Kinetic Dash. Okay, Bullet Resist Shredder, same as before. Cold Front, same as before. Wait a minute, chat. What is it I'm seeing when I'm hovering Cold Front? Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, we'll get to that. All right, Compressed Cooldown. It's got the same treatment as Mystic Expansion. The basic version is an imbue. And the upgrade is not an imbue, so nothing fancy. And duration. This is nice. Do you notice how they've normalized all of these? They all are basic imbues, and the upgrades are like not imbues. One thing I will say is that before it felt really awkward to upgrade to superior cooldown and superior duration because they were like 4 times more expensive, but didn't give that much more. But now you buy this one, right? Now the upgrade costs the same. It's 1600 and 1600. This makes these item paths much more streamlined and much more like, yeah, it makes it much more like worth to upgrade. Improved Spirit is the same. A Mystic Slow builds into Lightning Scroll. Do you guys remember that we data mined Lightning Scroll like way back? We actually made a video about it. Now they actually eventually put that item in the game. It's been adjusted, but yeah. Okay. Mystic Slow is the same as before, except Mystic Slow used to be a 4.2k item, and it was built in from Suppressor. But now Suppressor is a separate item, and Mystic Slow builds into Lightning Scroll instead. So Mystic Slow is really good now. It's a 30% movement slow. If you buy Tesla bullets, you can just buy this item and just have it, you know. And Mystic Vulnerability is the same, slightly less Spear Resist, but Quicksilver Reload. This item has got a huge quality of life upgrade like we talked about earlier. The passive is no longer a cooldown. It now charges up over time. This is going to be super good on Mo. This is going to be super good on Mo. A Slowing Hex, pretty much the same as before, except it doesn't have Spirit Lifesteal anymore. Spirit Sap. This is new. So this is an active item that reduces Spirit Resist and Spirit Power. So it's about as much as the old Mystic Vulnerability, except now it's an active item. Okay, so that's the 1600 items. Nothing too crazy here, honestly, for these items so far, but I think we're getting to the juice. And one thing you'll notice is that decay has been now increased to a 3.2k item. Have you guys noticed how all the healing reduction seems to be harder to get to now? Oh yeah, wait, there's a slowing hex upgrade too. That item sounds sick. Vortex web. All right. Oh yeah, Quicksilver has an upgrade. Oh my god. Okay, chat, calm down. Yeah, so healing reduction in general is harder to obtain now. Like most of those items have increased in price. Decay scales with the actual percentage damage scales with spirits. Damage based on their current health. Interesting. Disarming hex. Oh, wait, isn't that what Withering Whip used to do like way back? I'm not sure, but this is actually pretty insane against mouse 1 carries. A 4-second disarm. Yeah, this is the anti-fun item. You buy this, you're banned. Yeah, it's obviously more expensive now though. That's true. It's still really good. It's like Mo blind. And then we have greater expansion. That's just a regular AoE range. Knockdown is the same. Stun duration increased against airborne targets. So that's fine. Rapid recharge, also the same. Silence wave. So this is the new silence glyph. It also reduces spirit resistance now. So it's an upgrade from spirit sap, and it launches an expanding projectile which silences enemies for a short duration. So look at this.
Exquisite, isn't it?
Dude, all the new effects look so sick. Yeah, you can silence multiple targets. Yeah, it should be scaling with the reach, I think. I'm not sure. Okay. And then we've got Spirit Snatch. Spirit Snatch, pretty much same as before. Steal Spirit Power, Steal Spirit, Resist. One thing that I noticed with this one, guys, is that because they lowered the amount of Spirit Resist reduction Spirit Strike has, because that item was very overloaded, the amount of value you get from upgrading this item is bigger than it was on the old patch. Because before, you didn't really do much more spirit resist reduction when you upgraded, but it stole spirit power, so it was worth anyway. Now it steals a little bit less spirit power, but it still is a bigger like net gain in how much spirit resists you lower. Then we've got both the cooldown and duration, same as before. You just buy them and they work. Cooldown of abilities and items. Important to remember, guys, superior cooldown works on item cooldowns as well. So even items like Veil Walker will have a lower cooldown with spirit cooldown. Surge of Power. This item is almost identical to before. It even costs pretty much the same, so nothing new there. Tank Buster. So Tank Buster is the new improved burst. Charges up over time with bonus spirit damage. But this one also has gotten the same like charge up mechanic treatment that the other items have gotten. So improved burst wasn't that good on the old patch. I think this item will be much better. Because it's got that charge up time, it means that, like, for instance, on Paradox, you will hit someone with the carbine, you will swap them, and then when they go through the wall, they will be hit by the Tank Buster again. So that's pretty interesting. The second effect will only be like half as much, but because there's a charge up now, it means that anytime, and even with bomb debuff too, like the second bomb will also have like an additional amount of damage. So yeah, I think this item just has gotten a huge quality of life upgrade, and it's going to be interesting to see. Also remember that most likely on this patch, people will have more HP based on the patch notes. So when enemies have more HP, then any kind of HP percentage based damage is going to be better as well. Torment Pulse, same as before. Nothing to write home about. Okay. And then we get to the juice, guys. Arctic Blast, the upgrade from Coldfront. An expanding ice blast that deals spirit damage, freezing, and then slowing targets it hits.
You're the blastest gargoyle I've ever had the pleasure of selling guns to, Ivy.
And it also deals... Wait. I'm curious. Wouldn't this be good?
Oh, you beautiful mole bastard! Give me a hug.
Wait, that has to be good, no? That has to be so much damage. All right. That's a pretty sick item. Very cool. I'm glad Coldfront finally gets an upgrade. Definitely about time. A lot of people have asked about that. Boundless Spirit has changed quite a bit. It's got much less spirit power. It costs 3,000 souls less than before. But now, and this is one of the criticisms I had for Boundless Spirit. It felt like an item that you just buy because it's a stat stick, but it's not an interesting item. But now it's got a passive that heals you and gain bonus movement speed for a short duration every time you cast an ability. It just seems like this item is much more fun. You know, it doesn't just give you like a pure amount of a lot of a single stat. Like this seems like it can be a lot of fun on some heroes. Seems terrible though. No, I don't think so. I just think that very cool. He used to describe an item called Arctic Blast. Okay. So yeah, I think this is pretty sick. Curse is pretty much the same. Silence and disarm. Nothing new. Echo Shard has got some changes. First of all, didn't Echo Shard used to have like a 20-second cooldown? And now it's an imbue. Because I remember Echo Shard was on like an 11 to 12-second cooldown with superior cooldown.
My personal favorite for when I'm looking to cause degenerate mayhem.
Yeah, Bomb Bebop is dead, boys. I can't lie. I can't lie. I will say that this Echo Shard is much more noob friendly. It's much more noob friendly because one thing that was hard with Bebop was to hit the right buttons at the right time. Because you imbue this to an ability, it means that you don't have to like time your combo perfectly because it only resets the one ability you want it to. So I do get it in terms of like how they want to simplify and make builds and items more niche, but it also means that like some playstyles will just be far worse. Yeah, it also means you can't Echo Shard the hook anymore. Okay, escalating exposure is pretty much the same. Ethereal shift is pretty much the same. Another new item, focus lens. Target an enemy to silence them. A portion of all damage dealt during the silence gets applied to the target when the silence wears off. This is just like Orchid in Dota. So this has to be good on Haze, right? Yeah, Legacy, basically. Wouldn't this be good on a Haze ult build? Haze has a lot of spirit scaling. Haze needs fire rate. Haze does a lot of burst damage in a short window. Wraith too? Yeah, probably. They added a lot of Dota 2 items in this update. So I know that a lot of people have complained that this game is looking more and more like Dota. My 2 cents on that is that this is still a third-person shooter. So if they take a lot of mechanics from Dota that work really well in that game, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't just add it to this game too. I don't think that makes the game stale. I don't think that there's no way someone playing this game will be like, oh, this just feels like Dota at this point. I'm like, bro, you're literally shooting with a gun while aiming with your mouse. It's not gonna be Dota. All right. So let's try this item for a second, okay? Let's say that we are doing a Haze ult, right?
Might be time to visit the store.
And then we get burst fire, switch striker, and focus lens, right? And then we do this. Oh my god, you hear that sound? That's a scary ass sound. Okay, that's a cool item. I will say though, chat, you're gonna get killed by this item once, and then you're gonna spend 3k on a debuff remover, and you'll never be hit by it again. Are these the new OG health bars now? No, I think this is because I have it in my launch options. I'm pretty sure. Okay, next up we have Lightning Scroll. This item was a very highly requested item because it's been in the game engine for a long time. You could spawn it with a console command. It's received some changes, but it's now an upgrade from Mystic Slow. So essentially, your ultimate damage from your ultimate applies a stun and deals bonus spirit damage after a short delay. And since it's also got Mystic Slow built into it, it also slows them. So if you, for instance, put it on Haze, then after a while, also by the way, the effect is so cool, man. The lightning strike. So there are a lot of items that are kind of good for a Haze ult now. I don't know if you would spend this much on an item for a Haze ult though. But yeah, Magic Carpet, pretty much the same. They removed the barriers from Magic Carpet, but this was always a very, very stat overloaded item, so nothing new there. Mercurial Magnum. This is the new upgrade from Quicksilver Reload. Your imbued ability charges up over time with bonus fire rate, bonus spirit damage, and bonus bullets on use. Until your next reload, your bullets deal bonus spirit damage based on your spirit power. We finally have a way to counter metal skin. So your bullets can now do spirit damage, and you can scale it with spirit power. So you can go fire rate and spirit power, and you can... This is gonna make hybrid builds so much more valuable. Because, in my opinion, hybrid builds were always the weakest link in this game. Hybrid builds are always just a little like, I don't know, but that one, chief. You know what I mean? Of course, you still have a capacitor. I think if they buy a lot of metal skin, you're definitely gonna buy a capacitor to dispel it. But even for stuff like people building a lot of bullet resistance and stuff, having something that changes so you can also do spirit damage is good. I don't think it's great on haste because most of the weapon damage comes from fixation, because it says bonus base bullet damage. So let's look at the damage now. I just bombed there. See that? Dude, that's so cool. Dude, that's just so cool. So yeah, this is another cool item. Mystic Reverb, it's pretty much the same. It doesn't have spirit resist anymore or range. Refresher is the same. But then guys, we have 3 new items. Scourge, apply spirit resistance and an aura on a friendly target that deals percentage damage to enemies proportional to their max health. And it can be self-cast. My first thought process,
Time to get
once again, is this.
You smell like a sewer.
Hit the dirt.
Oh my god, the radius on this is huge. Spirit resistance and an aura on a friendly... Dude, mid-boss... Put some reach on that shit. Let me see here.
Exquisite, isn't it?
Dude, this is gonna go crazy on mid-boss fights. And then we have another item that was also data mined a way back, but it's been changed a bit, and that is Spirit Burn. Dealing significant spirit damage to an enemy within 5 seconds causes an explosion, dealing damage and a burn to nearby enemies. While burning, enemies take damage over time and receive reduced healing. 80% healing reduction. Now, this is the only item in the game that really feels like proper healing reduction. All the other items have like 20, 30, 35, whatever. But this is 80%. So yeah. Another cool thing is that, so it says that you need to do 400 damage in a 5-second window, right? Well, the cool thing is, if you have a spell that procs Tank Buster, you can easily hit that. So remember how I said that I want to try to do a paradox build? Here's what I was thinking, right? What if you take Express Shot for the 150% weapon damage, Tank Buster for the proc on Carbine, and then Spirit Burn for the burn after. So then when you hit a swap, they cannot heal at all through your combo.
Here we go.
Okay. Oh. We might be cooking. So let's do a full combo.
Storing time. Wall set.
Oh wait, we have one more item. Vortex web. Throw a vacuum grenade, pulling all enemies into a small area and applying slowing hex. Okay. Ah. Uh-huh. I see. This is literally Darkseer. Let's look at the map. So the map, it said that there was a new spawn area, right?
Mid-boss has arrived.
Oh, shit. Wait, this looks epic. It's like, you know how like
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
the patron is like a god, right? So this is like a church to like praise the patron, and he's got a throne. And then when the patron gets killed, this throne goes down, and then the pit. See that? This whole throne falls down when the patron dies, and then the like final room is like. And also the look at this. These are much harder to get to. So did you notice how it said in the flex slot changes that the base guardians are now the flex slot changes? I think that's because these shrines are much harder to kill now, and there is a high ground advantage to even killing the base guardians.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
So the base is more defendable, which I think is good, because the guardians didn't really do much. But yeah. Yeah, I'm curious about the actual throne. Is probably gonna get some updates, because this looks, you know, this could use an art pass or two. Let me just put on some movement speed,
Keep your blood on the inside.
and then we can look around the map, because it also said that there was a lot of new art passes. So we'll just start with the left side here. They said the boxes were changed too. See these? All the boxes look different. They now are part of the whole lore thing. Fairfax, because Fairfax is the weapons provider. In general, all the buildings and everything has much more flavor. Do you see that? Like
the spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Oh wait, that's Pocket's dad. You're right. Fairfax is Pocket's dad. New Walker art? Wait, what? What's it? Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, this. Oh wait, this bridge looks new too. Look at this. Everything looks like much more like high poly. Yeah, the minimap is new too. Like all the icons on the minimap look much better. The bridge is an actual bridge. Yeah, everything looks much more detailed.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Oh yeah, wait, one thing. Also the, I think the Walker entrance. Yeah, look at this. Just remember how this used to have like a bridge and then like a awkward opening in the middle. Now this is like a wider gap. And then this is now a tunnel through the back way here. Also, did you see that? I could double jump the stump. Okay, you can't do it on the ground, but when you're up there, you can. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. There's also...
The spirit urn is waiting
this
to be
new?
claimed.
This area is new too, right? It's like a zip line up here and stuff. I think so, yeah. That is new, yeah. Oh, wait, this is a big change. The zip line goes through the roof now. Okay. Oh yeah, the buildings have fire stairs now. True, that's right. Okay. Dude, this has... Oh wait, you can slide at the end of Majestic Leap now. Wait, guys, look at this. Oh, that's a big quality of life change. Interesting. Thank you so much for checking out the new video with all the updates. I'm gonna try to post new videos regularly now. We have a lot of shit to theorycraft, a lot of new guides, a lot of builds. So stay tuned for more videos on the channel, and don't forget to check out my Twitch stream every day. I'll leave a link in the comments down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what your favorite item was. Thank you for watching.